Well, good morning. Jim Sunderwirth here from the swing. All excited about the story we're telling you. This is kind of a whoa. I can't believe this really just happened. And what we're talking about is that Moses being gone for 40 days up into the mountains, the people getting a little bit kind of worried that they've lost their leader and they don't know what to do. So everybody's got to have something to live for. Everybody's got somebody to serve. Everybody serves something, as one songwriter said. And it's true. So here they are in the wilderness, seemingly all alone. And now you got to remember, there's a little bit of a mixed multitude here too, that's given a little bit of influence. Here, the Bible says that some of the Egyptians came out with them, and so they were, talking to him about, well, your God, we better go back to the gods of the Egyptians, and the people were kind of gullible, and they thought it'd be great. And so Aaron, he didn't know what to do. He wasn't the leader at that point, and I don't really believe he was anointed to be, of course, to be the leader. And so he led in a very, it wasn't very professional as far as when it comes to leading people back to God. He should have looked at those people, and when they came to him and said, we need a God, he should have said, don't you remember what God's done for us? Don't you think we should? Can't you understand that he brought us through the Red Sea? We're not going to do something like this. But no, what did he do? He said, well, give me some rings and stuff, and he built a calf, and he built an altar. And we ended yesterday about the fact that anybody that worships anything is going to have an altar in front of it. You're going to sacrifice something. You're going to sacrifice your family, your health, your wealth. You're going to sacrifice. Every God takes sacrifice. That's what's so wonderful about our God. He requires sacrifice, but he became the sacrifice. I don't understand why people don't just embrace that we could serve a God that said, I'll be with you, keep you, bring you, and never leave you. Remember way back we talked about that? And he's still with them. He's still going to do something for them. And yet, you know what? Here's what happens. Everybody needs a God, and when you leave the true and the living God, here, number two, remember this. You'll always kind of revert back to what you're familiar with. And that's what they did. Have you ever seen somebody that come to the Lord and they get all excited about Jesus and they get disenchanted? Maybe the pastor didn't do something right, or maybe they something happened and they got a little disenchanted, and they go right back and start doing the very thing this time that they used to do because they were familiar with it. I'm telling you, I've seen people that have given up different habits, and God has blessed them, and they've gone for years without it, and they get discouraged and they get despondent, and they get their eyes off of God and get it on man or get it on something, and they go back, and the first thing they do is regress back to that very horrible God they served that was destroying their life. And I've seen it happen. And this time, the next time, it's really, really hard to stop that. So you just don't want to do that. Okay, let's progress on. And it says these things. It says that, so after they built this altar, Aaron looked at him and said these words. He says, tomorrow, we're going to have a feast. We're going to play. We're going to have a blast. Here's what he said. Then they rose early the next morning, offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings, and the people sat down to eat, drink, and play. And the word play there, the word play doesn't mean they went out and played baseball. They really got to playing. In fact, King James says that they were running around chasing each other naked. That's what happens, because you revert back to that kind of God. And then in Texas they have a saying that they unbuckled and came completely loose. That's what they did. They had been taught, they were so kind of afraid of God because God had spoken to them out of the mountain, and they were concerned about different things. And now they build this calf, and this calf is the one. This is the bull calf that brought him across the sea. This is the calf that gave him water. This is the calf that gives him food to eat. What a slap in the face to Moses and the call of God and God. These people did, but we still do it today. We still do it. We slap God in the face by saying, no, he didn't do this. I did it with my own, or I thought this through, or this was. When we get away from the supernatural and get back into the flesh, when we get away from seeing things as God sees it, and hearing God and tasting God, and we get back into the taste of the flesh and the eyes of the flesh and the ears of the flesh, and we go back, oh, then, man, they unbuckled and they came completely loose. And the Lord, here it is, and the Lord said to Moses, go get down, for I like this, what it said, your people whom you brought out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. That's it, buddy. We have choice. We choose today whether we live in the beauty of the holiness of God, or we'll allow Satan to trick us and we corrupt ourselves. Well, I don't want to end on a negative thing here. I want to say we can seek the face of God, live for Him daily, and hear His heart, and not be corrupted, but be glorified by His love for us, by His direction, and be a miracle of God because we stayed in obedience, love, and faith. Wow, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. See ya.